We got some huge news to discuss here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to dive into the latest updates around Asante Samuel Jr. because the black and gold have been linked to him in the past. And we're also going to talk about Alonte Taylor because reports from Jeremy Fowler and ESPN suggest that there were teams interested in his services at the deadline. And I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We give you news, rumors, and updates all year round, no matter what. So lock us in for 100% free. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. My guy, Loco Lopez, on the ones and twos. We obviously know that the New Orleans Saints are not in a position where they have been really exciting. And for what it's worth, I think when you talk about the black and gold moving forward, you have to be realistic and you have to be honest with what's going on in their current situation. You have a losing record. It's a very bad record, only one win on the season. You do have money to spend. You have things that you need to think about in the future. And so let's talk about Asante Samuel Jr. because he could make an immediate impact in the present. Now, Ian Rapoport with the latest around ASJ. He had a spinal fusion procedure this offseason. Interesting enough, it was done by the Steelers team doctors. He is now able to go and be cleared, or he has now been cleared to return. So now he is able to go and sign with the team in NFL free agency. No question about it. He is the #1 free agent on the market right now. A lot of teams were waiting for ASJ to become available and have his situation be medically cleared. And we do know that the New Orleans Saints were keeping tabs on ASJ. Jeremy Fowler reported a few months ago that they were interested in keeping him and that they were going to have updates and they were going to have contact with him. But he is scheduled to make a few visits. Let's take a look at the list. You will notice the black and gold are not on this list. You might say, well, the Steelers are. They're black and yellow. I won't argue with you on that. But here on Wednesday, so yesterday, the Carolina Panthers hosted ASJ on a visit. Today, the Green Bay Packers. Tomorrow, the Minnesota Vikings. Next Monday, it will be the San Francisco 49ers. Dennis Allen, the Chicago Bears on Tuesday. And then next Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's doing his due diligence. He's going to make multiple visits. He's going to be making stops to figure out what is the best situation for him as he returns from injury. And look, there's no question about it. I'm not going to argue with you. ASJ would help the Saints. He would make the defense better. He would help bring consistency and more reliability to the defensive back room. And quite frankly, I think that he could be a really nice player to have be on the cornerback depth chart as you rotate Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley in, and you get your cornerbacks more time and more tape and more development. I don't think it would hurt to have a quality player like ASJ in on the defense, especially considering the familiarity with Brandon Staley's defensive scheme. But my question is, why the hell would Asante Samuel Jr. pick the Saints? Do you really think, when you look at all of the teams that are on that list, Panthers, Packers, Vikings, Niners, Bears, and Steelers, you think the Saints are better than any of those? I don't. I mean, why would he come to New Orleans? Why would he sign with one of the worst teams in football? It just wouldn't make sense. Like, I'm not here to be the bearer of bad news. Don't shoot the messenger. But ASJ is not going to be signing with the New Orleans Saints anytime soon. And I do wish that the black and gold were a good enough team to be in this conversation. I genuinely do believe if the Saints were at least having a respectable record, Asante Samuel Jr. would be visiting the black and gold. I mean, it makes way too much sense. However, the Saints are in the reality of a 1-8 season. They just moved a couple of players at the deadline, and it's not going to be looking very good and very bright in the future in New Orleans, at least immediately. So I just find it very hard to believe that Asante Samuel Jr. would pick the New Orleans Saints. Now, I want to ask you the question, which team will sign Asante Samuel Jr.? Do you think it could be the black and gold? I certainly don't. But I think that the Packers are an interesting option. The Niners are definitely interesting. The Steelers could use his services in a big way. I would not like the Panthers to sign him for what it's worth, but I want to hear from you. What do you think will happen with Asante Samuel Jr.? Now, coming up next, We got reports from ESPN and Jeremy Fowler that Alonte Taylor was almost dealt at the NFL trade deadline, which was just a couple of days ago. We're going to go through those reports, tell you all about that here in just one moment, because although it's in the past, it's still news and it's still new information, and I think it might give you a look at what the Saints' long-term plans are for this player. First things first, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Bubs Naturals. I love Bubs Naturals. I've been using this product for quite some time now, and I'm telling you right now, I look better, I feel younger, my joints don't hurt as much. The recovery at the gym has been so much easier, and that is all thanks to Bubs Naturals. I'm super excited to tell y'all about this product. If you head over to bubnaturals.com, and you use code CHAT, or you just click the link in the comments or description of this video, you'll get 20% off your order. Whether you like it or not, you are getting older, stiff joints in the morning, the gym recovery, like I said, it takes longer, but not with Bub Naturals. It can help you feel younger, and it can help you live better longer. I have been taking this product for some time. I feel so much better. I cannot tell you how it has changed my life. I'm not kidding. You just get a little bit of this, you put it in your drink, and you're feeling absolutely amazing. Bubs Naturals. Use code CHAT to get 20% off your order. Live better longer. There's no junk, zero sugars, zero sweeteners, no fillers. It is here to make you feel better every single day. Bubs Naturals collagen peptides come in to help with the aging that starts in your mid-20s. Your collagen production starts to naturally decline, and that's why you should check out the Bubs Naturals collagen peptides. I use it every day. You will too. Live better longer for a limited time. Click the link in the comments or description of this video. You'll get 20% off at Bubs Naturals by using code CHAT at checkout. Just head to BUBSnaturals.com and use code CHAT. That's code CHAT, and you're all set. After you make your purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support Saints now and tell them that we sent you. Click the link in the comments or description right now. So the reports from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler are really interesting because obviously the Saints were going to be operating as deadline sellers, not buyers. And to be totally honest, I was actually disappointed in the fact that you only made 2 moves. I thought it was going to be 2 to 3, so technically I was kind of right. But at the end of the day, you needed to make a lot of moves, and you only got 3 picks in return. And according to Jeremy Fowler, the Indianapolis Colts were keeping their eyes on Alonte Taylor. They wanted Sauce Gardner. Obviously, that's who they ended up getting. They sent the King's ransom for him. But they were dedicated to making a move at cornerback, no questions asked. And here's what he had to say about Alonte Taylor. Fowler said that one possibility was Saints quarterback Alonte Taylor if the Sauce Gardner deal fell through. One team in the cornerback market said that the Saints were looking for an early day 3 pick for Taylor, who was a free agent after this season. If the Gardner deal fell through, I believe there was a decent chance Taylor would have been a Colt, allowing him to play more outside while Kenny Moore II manned the slot. Look, I think that this does tell you a little bit in terms of what to expect in the future, because the Saints do need to make some decisions this offseason. Obviously, Taylor's in the final year of his contract. Obviously, he's a player who's been a contributor to this defense for a few years. And I'm not going to sit here and give him a bunch of flowers where it's not deserved. It has been bad in a lot of areas, especially in coverage. But I will say you've seen a lot of flashes. He can do a lot of things. He's dangerous as a blitzer. He is a high-energy, high-level player and a great leader on the defense. And I honestly think he gets a little bit more shit than he deserves. That's just my personal opinion. I'm a big fan of Alonte Taylor, and I think he's going to be a very interesting guy to watch throughout the offseason. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the Saints want to bring him back, and maybe he decides that he'll take a little bit of a discount, and we can get an affordable contract for a player that I really like. But you also have to consider the fact that there are going to be other teams out there who are interested in his versatility and his services and his experience and in his high-energy play style. And look, New Orleans definitely needs to consider bringing him back this offseason, because if you do let Alonte Taylor walk in free agency, the depth chart gets very, very, very thin. Obviously, Quincy Riley, Kool-Aid McKinstry, those are going to be your outside guys. Alonte Taylor, one of the best parts about him is that he can play either outside, he can play inside, you can have him blitz, you can have him stop the run, you can have him play in coverage, you can literally ask him to do anything. And I think when it comes to the nickel position specifically in New Orleans, I would prefer to keep him around and then, or rather than trying to or letting him walk and then try to figure out somebody to plug and play in the nickel. Like, I just like what we're getting from Alonte Taylor. I don't love it, but I think that he's still a player that's growing and developing and learning. And I do think with Alonte Taylor specifically, he's a player that has had a little bit of a hindrance, is that the right word? He's had a little bit of an issue in terms of his development because he's been asked to go outside. He's going inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. New head coach, new defensive coordinator, new this, new that, new here. Like, there's been so much inconsistency in his role in New Orleans. So, of course, there's been some problems. I personally believe in him, and I know that there's going to be other teams out there that will want to sign him. I mean, all of the reasons we've said, the high-energy player. He can do literally whatever you want. And honestly, he could be in a position where the New Orleans Saints and Alonte Taylor have to have some tough conversations about what's the compensation to expect, because I'm really, really eager to see what Alonte Taylor's price tag is. It's not like he's been an unbelievable game-breaking cornerback, so it's not like he's going to cost you a way, way too high of a contract, but I also think that you do need to pay him up a little bit because he has earned not a ton, but he has earned considerable cash, in my personal opinion. I'm really eager to see what happens. I think there's pros and I think there's cons in both of this. Obviously, if you let him walk, you could get a comp pick in return, but that's one of those things where if you let him walk, you probably should have just tried to trade him. I personally think that the New Orleans Saints are going to try to keep him around, and if they didn't move him, which they didn't, if they were interested in moving him at the deadline and they ended up not doing it, it means to me that there are teams out there who are going to keep an eye on him as he enters the free agency market. And the New Orleans Saints are going to have to make a decision sooner rather than later. Not immediately, but you're going to need to make a decision or at least have an idea of what you want to do in the offseason, because I think he is going to be a player that will probably be signed fairly quickly. Now, what should New Orleans do? Should they bring him back? Or should they let him walk? Type pay, type walk. Get in the comment section, put on your GM hat for me, and let me know what you would do. Now, I am really appreciative of every single one of you who watches our content. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to cross the 52,000 subscriber milestone. But the job ain't finished. So hit the sub button, lock us in. Content coming all throughout the weekend. We'll be live on game day. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard for my guy Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.